Okay.
Hi. How are you guys doing? I'm doing okay. All right. Um, a video on Tuesday. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. So an update. It's Tuesday morning, 5 o'clock. So I took the day off today. I've got a couple of things I should do at work, but I took a vacation day, so I'll be monitoring emails and stuff like that. But anyway, holy wow. So here's the update. If you're not aware, if you missed the last video, you guys, um, I went in for a routine CT scan, right? Just to double check my pancreatic cancer situation, right? Hang on just a second. Too much stuff on my desk. But so yeah, so the CT scan results came back, and I'm looking at my phone, going through the very technical jargon, and it said potential pneumonia, which would explain why I haven't been feeling good lately. And how many of you remember from way, way back my not feeling good sweatshirt? Anybody remember this sweatshirt? This was when I first started the channel like over a year ago. But anyway, so I did that video, the last video, and a bunch of you said, get to the doctor like right now. And so I called the doctor yesterday, and they're like, well, we can get you in to see your primary provider like in September or whatever. She's booked out for a ways. Or you could see a different doctor today. We can actually get you in at 4 o'clock today. I'm like, well, I'll take today. How about that? So they're like, yeah, come on in. So I went to the office, and I could have done like a televisit or a remote, web, video visit. And they're like, no, we'd rather you come in, and because we want to probably do an examination based on your symptoms and your CT scan and blah, blah, blah. So I went in, and yeah, so I can't remember. There was a couple of things, and the doctor's last name I won't even try to pronounce. It was mainly all consonants with a few vowels thrown in. Super nice guy. He came in the office, and one of the first things I said to him, I'm like, I like your glasses. And he's like, yeah, I like yours too. Because we have like almost identical glasses. So that got the ball rolling. But anyway, he said, yeah, so the CT scan shows, potential pneumonia. So he did the exam and stuff. And he's like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prescribe some antibiotics. I'm like, well, that makes sense. And he said, but you need to go to the hospital now. And I'm like, and meaning, after we're done here, go directly across the street. It's like the clinic is here and the hospital is here. Okay. I'm really lucky. I live like 2 miles away from where I'm getting all of my care. All right. So I'm really fortunate in that regard. I should be riding my bike to the doctor, but it's like, yeah, oh, heck no. Not yet. I got to get my strength back up. But anyway, he said, yeah, go across the street to the hospital when we're done. And I'm like, well, can I go home and do a shower? Because, it's been a couple of days, because I don't get stinky. I'm not out in 90 degrees working in the garden, like I used to. But he said no, because my blood pressure was so low, and they tested it twice. They did it, the machine, almost looks like an IV kind of a thing, brrr, and it does it all automatically. And then a nurse came in and did it manually, because the machine showed, I don't know, it was like 90/80 or something like that. It was like my blood pressure was really, really low. I have no idea why. But yeah, so he said, no, don't drive home. I don't want you passing out in the car on the way home. I'm like, really? Because I asked him, I said, well, what would it feel like if my blood pressure got way too low? And he's like, well, it's going to feel like you're going to pass out. So yeah, I was a little bit woozy going in there. That's the best term I can come up with. Feeling a little woozy, right? You guys can relate, right? So yeah, so I drove straight over to the hospital, went in the main entrance, and got to the receptionist, and she's like, no, I don't see any orders for you. What was your last name again? Because there are several Jim Clarks in their system. Go figure. So she's trying to look me up in the system. Epic. I don't know if you guys have Epic where you guys are, but it's a big medical information system. But they couldn't find me. And so they're like, well, I wonder if you're supposed to go to ER. And I'm like, well, I'm not bleeding or anything. I walked in here. I have to go to the ER. So another nurse was sitting at the counter, and he said, tell you what, I'll bring you down there, because it's a little bit of a little ways away. It's a separate parking lot, actually. So he brought me into ER, and they're like, last name, date of birth, oh yeah, here you are. So have a seat, and we'll be right with you. So I'm sitting in the ER waiting room, and there's people like throwing up, and people in there that, in wheelchairs, and it's like, really? I don't belong here. I'm not in that bad a shape, right? So I felt really bad for these other people, yeah, so they came in and they put an IV in, the needle, just to get it ready for IVs, and did some other tests, and they drew blood, I don't know, 3 or 4 samples of blood, sent those off to the lab. And so I'm sitting there, and they brought me into my room. And so, yeah, put the gown, the surgical gown and the whole deal, So I'm laying on the gurney, like freezing, A nurse came in. It's like, can I get you anything? And I'm like, well, can I get a blanket? I hate asking for stuff. Oh yeah, no problem. So she brought in this warm blanket. So that was great. So they brought me in and did another CT scan. That went fine, with the contrast, where they put it through your IV, and it makes you feel all warm, makes you feel all warm inside. It makes your body feel weird, but I'm used to that. I've had like 8 CT scans, so no big deal. So later on, the CT scan results came back, and a bunch of results came back, and a doctor stopped in, and she's like, yep, well, we found, what looks like beginning stages of pneumonia. And we went through a bunch of stuff, went through the blood work, and there's a couple of things in my blood work that were a little bit off. And for me to try to explain it, I don't know if I could, very technical, but it has to do with something to do with like the heart proteins are working too hard or something, just very, I don't know, very technical. Anyway, long story short, I was in the ER for 5 hours, and yeah, so got out of there at 9 o'clock last night, went directly to bed, and I was out, because I'm usually in bed at like 6 or something, right? So got up at 4 this morning. I'm feeling like $1,000,000, so far. So, but yeah, so I put a post out there, and a few of you saw it, and I got some great comments from those of you that saw that post. It's like, you guys, I'm in the ER waiting room right now, da da da, and I kind of explained, why I was there, the CT scan and all that. And some of you put in some just really nice comments. So I want to reply to those comments. All right. So yeah, I'm feeling okay. So no worries. Okay. Yeah, here's the thing. I kind of not really forgot, but I kind of lost sight of how this whole channel started. This whole channel started with, well, me like documenting my pancreatic cancer journey, right? And then I started getting really great comments from you guys, from the Mad Pack, right? Just that really touched me and really went deep. And I haven't needed a lot of support lately. I mean, some of you guys have, which is unfortunate, but, that's why we're here. But anyway, so I got some really great comments, and it made me feel the same way that it did like a year ago. It's like, wow, so, and a couple of people that don't leave comments very often on here, because otherwise I would recognize your channel names or whatever. Right. So, yeah, so I'm going to get it set up on my other monitor, but I want to go through those really nice comments. And by the way, I deleted that post where it said, you guys, I'm in the ER, da da da, because it was kind of a nothing burger. So I'm doing this video in lieu of, posting an update. Well, I'm home now, and it's like, I'll just do a video on Tuesday. So anyway, let's go through your nice comments. Those of you that replied, thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate it. Okay. All right, let's do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go kind of reverse order. So the first, well, anyway, you'll see. I don't have to explain it. But anyway, Thomas says, hey, you got stuff to do at home to get ready for the Sojourn out west. Well, that's true. Sojourn. Well, yeah, that's true. But I was kind of busy, like being in the ER. So, I'll get to the trailer, later. And then, Deb says, and by the way, Deborah is a supervisor at work, and she doesn't post very often, do you, Deb? But she's one of my users. Yeah, I mean, most of you know, long story short, part of my job is I designed these dashboards that make it really easy for people to see what's going on. So it pulls data from different systems and it displays it on one screen, and then you can click on things and it brings you to other screens, and they say that intelligent people talk with their hands. I don't know if you knew that or not, but but yeah, Deb is a supervisor at work. So, hey, Deb. So she says, hi, Jim, I'm glad you're getting help. No fun to be hospitalized, but it sounds like that's what you need right now. Yeah. I hope things clear up for you and you can be released soon and be back to doing what you like to do, Deb. Yeah. So, like I say, no worries. It kind of turned out to be kind of a nothing burger, not that big of a deal, just some antibiotics and, so I'm not real worried about it. Melly says, get better soon, Jim. Thanks, Melly. And if I'm not mistaken, Melly, I think you're from Australia, right? have you taken your walkabout around the billabong today? So I think, if I remember right, Melly, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I've got people all over the world, it's like, great. So I'm going to throw something on the Bobby. So thanks, Melly. Yeah, I am feeling better, so that's a good thing. So then, oopsies, where's here? And then one of my buddies from way back, I told you, like, I don't know, long time ago, I started a meetup group where we played tennis every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. And some people were really serious about it. They kept score and stuff. And the rest of us just hit back and forth. And it was really fun. We just laugh the entire time. And so Kenneth, and we go back further than that. We were both leading hiking groups too. So way back in the day, Kenneth, that was what, 10 years ago? So anyway, Kenneth and I go way back. Yikes, Jim, take care. Yeah, thanks, Kenneth. Feeling better today, although, I might feel crummy tomorrow. It's really weird. So anyway, thanks for that. And Karen says, prayers for you. I'm glad you went to the doctor. Thank you, Karen. And so Kim replies, amen, amen. Prayers to you also. And I'm glad you went to the doctor also. Because when I posted that last video that, they found some pneumonia, and a bunch of you were like, get to the doctor like now, today, if you can, so kind of bossy, but I understand, right? So yeah, I did. And then Winter Came says, and Winter Came, you don't leave very many comments either, but I really appreciate it. Dehydration. Yeah, I don't think so, because I'm pretty good at drinking like a gallon of water a day. I've got these great big, what are they called? Stainless steel with insulation around there, a tumbler, So I try to have like 5 or 6 of those a day. I don't know how many ounces they are. This is the international symbol for ounces. So remember in the last video, my stupid Samsung stove all of a sudden went crazy? It's doing the same thing. I need to replace the circuit board in there. It gets confused. Like me. Dehydration? I don't think so. IV fluids will likely help the blood pressure. Yeah, it did. They put me on saline and something else, and then my blood pressure went up to normal levels. Now they can check on the pneumonia. Yeah, they did. Please eat something and or drink some nutritional supplements. I've been pretty good about, I'm not showing you guys what she was saying. Now they can check on pneumonia. Please eat something and or drink some nutritional supplements. Yeah, I've been pretty good about doing that, Winter. Like I said, I have my coffee every morning, 2 or 3 cups of coffee, but I put a scoop of protein powder in there. So I'm getting, each scoop is 24 grams of protein. So I'm getting, plenty of protein, plus I'm doing all kinds of supplements, so I don't think that was the reason. But anyway, be a good patient. Well, of course I'm a good patient. I make everybody laugh, and go easy on yourself. Nurse D. So thanks, D. And thanks for being a nurse. And everyone that came in and helped me yesterday, nurses, I told all of them, thank you for being a nurse. And one of my nurses was from the Philippines, and I told her I was on the board of directors for Augustana Healthcare. This was way back in the day when I was running my company. But yeah, I was on the board of directors, and we built a new facility in Hastings, Minnesota, and we couldn't find nurses to staff the facility. So we ended up going to the Philippines and bringing a handful of nurses from the Philippines to the United States and got them, acclimated, and we found housing for them and got them assimilated into the community, and they worked out great. And so I told my Filipino nurse this. Can't remember how we got on the topic, but I asked her. I said, "Well, do you mind if I ask where you're from? I'm trying to figure out your accent, or whatever." And she's like, "Well, I'm from the Philippines." And so I told her this story, and so I asked her, "So, are we still having trouble finding nurses?" And she's like, "Well, I think there's enough kids, getting into it now where, we're not that short-staffed anymore." So I'm like, "Well, that's good, because back in the day, there were no nurses, not enough nurses, because it's a hard job, right? Geez, nursing school alone, I dated a couple of nurses back in college, and the stories they would tell, all the memorization, all the bones and and all the systems and, just amazing. And then clinicals, some of the crazy stories they had from doing clinicals. Yeah, it's like becoming a nurse is not easy, and it's not an easy job, You're dealing with all kinds of crazy situations all day long. And then I show up and they're like, "Oh, geez, here we go." So she and I laughed about a couple of things, can't remember. But so, it's like when I say, me and the doctors and nurses, we laugh about stuff. And I've told you before, it's like they've got a tough job, So if a patient can come in and say something silly or, explain his tattoo, may you be well, may you be happy, may you feel safe, and just to lighten their load just a little bit during the day, that it's partially selfish because it makes me feel good, right? So, but my experience over there was fine, normal stuff, couple IVs and, CT scan. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've done like 8 of these." No big deal. So, so anyway, you guys, just another quick update. And thank you very much for those of you that I'm guessing most of you didn't see the post, because like I said, I deleted it, pretty fast after I got home last night, because it's kind of it wasn't that big of a deal anymore. So anywho, what can I send you away with other than go out and have a good day today? All right. I think I've run out of weird hand things to send you away with. Well, I'll do one of them again. All right. So it's this one. Thank you very much. And this and that. And then you go, and I dare you today, walk up to somebody with just a straight face and go, and just, and see what they do. If you're in line at Walmart, turn around and look at the person behind you and go, all right, I got to go, you guys. Thank you. And I'll talk to you later. All right. Talk to you later, winter. No, not winter. Whoever was from Australia. Okay. Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Science!